The second thread is critical, and it has everything to do with the title of the book. What it does is take some of the very seminal, deeply formative scriptural stories and connect them, lift up the correspondences between those stories, which we ingest at a very, very early age, with what has unfolded in my case, since the Industrial Revolution and the Age of Enlightenment. What we've seen unfolded that is so vividly connected to this God of Scripture. And I'll just give a couple of examples. The first creation story is the six-day creation story, and God rested on the seventh day. It was a hierarchical kind of creation with humans at the top.
Right.
And the humans at the top were given license by this scriptural God to rule and dominate and have dominion over and use whatever is available as our own resources. And so what I'm doing is connecting a story like that to what's unfolding today through those couple or 3 centuries years since the Enlightenment, since Western European Enlightenment, really. That's kind of my starting point on this book.
Okay.
Another one would be, I call that the human-centered God, the one that puts humans at the top.
Sure.
Another one would be the second creation story, which is the story of the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve. And Eve comes from Adam's rib, so already we have a kind of male-female hierarchy here, which obviously is playing out today. But we also have something else, which is the first couple. I call them the first couple. Eve is told not to eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The snake, the cursed snake, or soon to be cursed snake, convinces her that it's a good idea because it'll open her eyes and she'll come awake and she'll understand what's what. And so she takes a bite and Adam takes a bite, and God finds this out and expels them from the Garden of Eden, expels them really from their home to wander forever, to wander and wander. And the wandering is a disconnect from the homeland, right? So this wandering land out here doesn't really belong to anyone. There's no need to care for it. There's no connection to it because you're moving through it. Wendell Berry always talks about being rooted in the land. So when you're called out of the land or pushed out of your land, you're not rooted in your land any longer. So that's another one. And I guess in the book are probably 5 stories like that. The call of Abraham and Sarah out of their homeland to go colonize Canaan, right? This will sound very familiar. The people that God chose were called out of their home to go colonize the land of Canaan, which was obviously already inhabited. And it's not a great leap of the imagination to see that happening in this land. When the first Western Europeans came over, they were called settlers, which is just really a nicer name for colonizer.
Conqueror.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this land was inhabited, and what the colonizers did to the Native Americans is not what's taught in most elementary schools. We don't know these stories.
Sure.
So that's the